Atem Netzavim Hayom Kulchem. Interestingly, if we reverse the letters of the word Atem, it becomes the word Emes, truth. What does this teach us? Reading the verse as saying, truth standing today, all of you. There's a fundamental question that is always puzzling. Why was the decision that generation made to accept the Torah binding on future generations? Why should every generation of our nation be entitled to review the benefits and drawbacks of their acceptance? We should be able to say, well, maybe it was good for them and it's not good for us. We have free choice and we have a right to decide on our own. Although in practical terms, it would certainly disrupt our tradition from generation to the next. But as our history testifies, this is the attitude we have adopted anyway. The further we distance ourselves from Har Sinai, the more distant our nation becomes from the values of the Torah. Today our tradition survives by way of a loyal minority, while the rest of our nation, Rachmana litzlan, questions the need, and even more so the validity of a Torah way of life. In light of this, we can understand the significance of this teaching. The truth is, we were all there at Har Sinai. All future generations were bound by the decision that was made at that time because we were all there. Now, of course, that seems somewhat mystical. How could it be that if we were not physically present, that in fact we were there at Har Sinai? The answer is, of course, we were there in spirit. Chazal tell us that the souls of all the Jewish people throughout history were there. Yes, in body we weren't, but in soul we were. And the truth is, if we would only dig into our deeper selves without just focusing on our physicality as our true identity, we would relate to the teachings of the Torah as vital to our existence. The problem is, just as the God outside of us is difficult to sense without devoting sufficient effort, the same is true of the God inside of us. However, just to dismiss this as imaginary, because it is difficult to experience, would even refute basic modern day science. Scientists say today, we are all made up of atoms. Matter is simply organized energy. What we see with our eyes is an illusion. As a matter of fact, science is heading in the direction that we may all be nothing but information. Pure physicality is an illusion. So maybe our true existence actually transcends this physical body. Maybe the explanation that our souls were there at Har Sinai is not so mystical after all. But even if that explanation is too elusive, we can appreciate that we were there in another sense. The more we are bounded to our ancestry, the more we can connect with our history and our tradition. If we would learn about the learn about the greatness of the past generations, the great men of those times, the greatness of their minds and their character, angels in human form, we would be confident that their vision at that time transcended beyond the confines of their existence. And when they said Nasa v'nishma, its value lasted forever.